Welcome to Packmates, a podcast about Magic the Gathering Limited, where we take a deep dive into the current limited formats. The Packmates are a group of friendly neighborhood card sharks that love drafting, hanging out, and going to FNM. Don't forget to check out our socials and join our Discord. Links in the descriptions.
I'm Ryan, your 2-in-1 correspondent.
I'm Andrew, your 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop correspondent.
I'm Robi, the resident Demir correspondent.
So in this episode, we're going to talk about our FNM experience this week and do a data deep dive, and then the mind of an alpha.
And
We
for some reason I was scripted to do the and this week for no reason, but
seemed about right.
Yeah.
Seemed about right.
I gotta follow the script, guys.
Good man.
Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button, people.
Yeah,
I think we got like one subscriber. Right?
You had to get all those Packmate notifications, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Links are in the description for socials.
Yeah.
So Andrew, tell us about your deck this week.
Oh yeah. So this week, I was playing a little the boogeyman of the format for the longest time. I think since the beginning of the format, it's been this Gruul deck, and so this is what I picked this week. It's a Gruul oil. It's kind of light on the oil. I committed to this because, well, actually, I stayed kind of open when my first pick was actually the Monumental Facade, so I knew I was going to do some sort of oil. But then the Canker Bloom came by, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to be aggro. And then it was the second one. Record this week showed it 3-0. My deck was winning just by curving out 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, done. Well, 4-drop. I curved into my one of my standout commons this week actually with Chimney Rabble, and man, that guy was just very good. I was able to, when I got him out there with the excuse me, with the Rustvine Cultivator on turn 3, that was pretty good. So he was a standout this week for me. Canker Bloom on 2-3-2, can't beat it. A lot of good flexibility. You're let's see, where you can get the enchantment, you can blow up a artifact, or you can proliferate. Very strong. One of my other standout uncommons this week was Tyvar's Stand. It's the X green spell, and so it's X in green, and it's an instant. Target creature you control gets +X and gains hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. And so just even on just one solid green, just to give it indestructible is pretty good. I won me a game straight out. I think I did +7. It was just like a fireball. And then one of the other funnier cards in my deck was actually Sawblade Scamp. It's the 1/1 haste for 1 red, and when you play non-creature spell, you can add an oil to it, remove an oil counter, ping him for 1, straight to the dome with that guy. It was not bad. I only played 1 rare this week in this bomb heavy format. It was Monumental Facade, the most bombiest bomb oil land. This week
I don't think I've ever actually read that card.
I didn't either. Apparently, I thought it did different things until my opponent actually had to tell me that I was playing it wrong, and I was actually making it even worse. It was better than I thought it was. Like, I thought you had to pay mana to actually, the Facade comes in with 2 oil counters on it, and then it taps for colorless, and then you could tap it to remove an oil counter. But for some reason, I thought you had to pay mana to do that ability. So I was sitting there just paying mana, tapping mana for no reason. And my opponent just tells me, he's like, that it doesn't cost anything. I was like, what?
If your opponent was Andrew, he would have never told you.
So be sure. Yeah. Don't take it easy on him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I was a little removal light this week. I only had I had the Volt Charge that deals 3 damage for 2 colorless and a red. And then I also had the Hex Gold Slash. That's the one that deals, it's 1 red. It deals 2 damage to a creature, and if it has Toxic, deals 4 damage. I've relied mainly more on the pumping with Tyvar's Tyvar Stand. Maze Skull Bomb. That's the one that gives +3/+3 when you sacrifice it. And then I also had Free from Flesh. It's the one. This one's gets you sometimes. It's the 1 red, and it gives +2/+2 and 2 oil counter. And so that was pretty good. One of the sickest plays I had actually was I was just aggressively just beaten down. And so my opponent had a 4/4 and a 3/3, and so they trade. I just threw everything in there. And so they traded with my 3/3 and they traded with the 2/2. And then I played our little friend, the signpost uncommon in this archetype, Cinder Slash Rager. And I dealt 1 damage to everything. All the stuff had 1 damage on it. Boom. Wrath the board. 1-sided. It was pretty nice. It was like a 3 for, was it? Yeah, 3 for 1, 2 for 2, something like that. It was good. Can't do the math on that. It's late. Lessons to learn from these kind of things, just read the room. It was a really aggressively tight group of drafters this week, and I think we all just kind of read the signals, and it kind of showed in the distributions that we saw. There wasn't anybody who was in direct color clashing with me to my left or to my right. I singled pretty well. This deck, I mean, it's just curving out. My 1-drop slot had, was it 9 plus 1-drops here, and it was just 1s and 2s and then a little bit on the top to get over, and they were all hasty guys too, so it was really helping with that curve. So yeah, curving strong in this really fast format that's bomb heavy.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Good lesson. Good lesson.
Saying it every week.
Guys, did you know if you use all your mana all the time, your deck just performs better?
Does it? Oh man, it's so mana
Your cards
efficient.
do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Man, I just thought it was, even with 1/1s, it was actually pretty good.
You're having trouble losing at Magic. Have you ever tried just playing a 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop?
Yeah,
It's something to
I don't
consider.
know about how realistic that is. Realistically, you have 1 3-drop creature. Like, I don't know about that. Like,
Well, you double, see, I double. The trick was you double spell.
I will
on turn
say
3.
this curve is not impeccable. It's got a valley right in the middle.
It's definitely an aggro
It's
deck.
not a
let me
nice
tell you.
slope.
It's kind of
Right.
nice. I did get Cinder Slash Rager on. I had so many oil counters out there with the churning reservoir. The one that puts it's a 1 red for an artifact that puts at this beginning of your upkeep, you get to put an oil counter on a creature you control. And yeah, I got that guy down to like just 1 solid green, 1 solid red. It was pretty nice.
I have a question for you
Sure.
about that. One, did you ever even make goblins with Turning Reservoir? Because you can also make goblins with it.
The one time I had it and I could have done it, I forgot to play my land and I just flat out just forgot. I guess it didn't really matter.
That's a no.
But that was a no. Yeah, I was too aggressive.
So with that in mind, would you rather have Turning Reservoir in your deck or just like another Sawblade Scamp?
I think I like the Churning Reservoir because even if I wasn't using it for the goblin, it was really nice with the Sawblade Scamp, or like how I'd said before with the Cinder Slash, or Cinder Slash Rager. It was just nice to have a little bit of extra oil going on. And I also had the Predation Steward. That's the 2/2 for 1 colorless and 1 green. It comes into play with 2 counters on it, 2 oil counters, and you could pay 3 to remove 1 of the oil counters and give +2/+2 to something. And so it was kind of nice to kind of get back on the oil. Axiom Engraver, another good one. Goblin Picker, best. So you get to loot with that guy, which is really nice. Or rummage, I guess is what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I that's the one card that I don't super agree with in your deck.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't seem like you had time to utilize the goblins. I think like a 1 mana spreading out oil counters for the payoff of like 1 card.
Sometimes
maybe
you just gotta,
2 is just, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't it feel just
You just gotta oil the machine to make it work better, man.
I guess. I mean, your deck was like super good. I'm just nitpicking, but
oh yeah, it was definitely sussy when I had it out there. I mean, I didn't feel like I was using it to its maximum potential, especially because I was able to remove oil counters like pretty easily. And I'm sure I just forgot most of the time that it had more text than just like letting me, Axiom Arc a little bit, or Axiom Engraver a little bit more, or getting another point of damage with that saw blade.
Like, I think if you had 2 Coldotha Cacklers, the 2/3s, they get +1/+0 with trample for each thing you have with the oil counter.
Oh yeah,
like it would have been insane in your deck. But I don't know.
I'm not kind of big on that guy, but
really,
yeah, no, secret. I'm not really. It seems to be like he's just like, is he good without any oil?
No, but like, you're playing Turning Reservoir and Skullblade Scamps, right? Like, when did you ever not have oil?
There were a couple times I ran out of oil. That was a big mistake because I said, "Oh wait, I did need that 1 little oil counter just to stick around." So it's kind of funny when you just like don't want to remove the last one because you have maybe some light proliferating or something like that, where you're like, I could have got more value.
What was your best buff?
Best buff by far was Tyvar Stand. That card is a game winner and a game ender. I guess it's the same thing.
Let me
but,
rephrase. What was your best common buff?
okay.
Yeah, Tyvar Stand was sick for sure.
Yeah, I mean that just is so good. I mean, I guess I can count the Skull Bomb.
Sure.
It's pretty nice to just have the draw a card. I actually just forgot to draw a card a couple times, but it was just so good on its own just to trample on that. The secret ability to trample on that card is really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy that was your best.
I mean,
best buff.
The secret get 'em is definitely free from flesh because no one respects it. But
well, yeah, the oil counter, right?
Yeah, the oil
counters can be huge on some of these dudes.
Some of these dudes are pretty nice. Yeah. I was playing something earlier this week, and I think I was playing red, blue, oil or something earlier this week, and that was an all-star on the 2/4 flyer, the signpost uncommon there.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, that card was good. But yeah.
Okay, so I have a couple questions.
Cool.
Would you trade the Splinter for literally any other star drop?
Yeah. Thankfully,
that's what it seemed like.
thankfully I never drew it. Actually, no wait. I never drew it. So thankfully I didn't have to find out if it was good or bad, but my suspicion is it's probably bad. It could have been anything else.
Were you ever punished for your lack of removal?
No, because I was just so aggressive. Even just
Yeah,
the
I think
one
like if somebody had like the death touch guys, I think that could have been like
the death touch.
obviously you were in the best color for having the death touch guys, but
Yeah. Oh, that was kind of nice too. When you're on a table and in a pod with people, you just can kind of see what you're throwing around out there and just know like, okay, well, if this is really bad for me, maybe I just kind of go into it and just make it not bad for me. But I think the pump spells were the things that kind of were getting me over the edge. If I can just
yeah,
get there
I
fast
just think
enough.
like the death touch guys
Oh yeah.
might have been a huge issue. But
Yeah.
my last question is would you have traded your atrocity for a furnace strider?
Ooh. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been I just
They're
never
like
saw
kind of like they're like interchangeable.
actually
I think,
probably
but,
probably
slightly
the
better.
yeah, the Furnace Strider's probably just a little bit better, just because
Yeah.
it can haste up my Cinder Slash Rager. Yeah, I just
Or your Resistance Warden, Sky Warden. Yeah, that'd be gross.
it's so good.
5 minutes with
Yeah.
haste for 5. That'd be
Yeah,
disgusting.
this was basically like I'm pretty close to a mono. I mean, even when I put it into arena was trying to give me 10. I think it was trying to give me 10 mountains and like four forests with what I had. So don't trust arenas auto mana giver. Really take a look at your spells twice before you hit the send button on that. It was a fun one. Tell me about your deck, Rovi. It looks like a spicy brew.
Yeah. So this week I played Demir Poison Counters. And you might ask this week what made me commit to those colors. I was just forcing it straight out of the gate. like I've had an obsession with trying to make this deck work. I've been grinding it in Quick Draft all week long. Like that's the only deck I've been playing in Quick Draft for literally no reason. It's the worst deck in the format according to 17 lands. But I just like my heart tells me there's something there. I have yet to trophy it with it. Everyone's giving me crap about that, but I've gotten to like 6 wins quite a few times and then I just choke. But I don't know. I've been forcing it and my record was 2-1, which is like I think pretty good for like forcing the worst archetype.
I can see the air quotes now. Like the worst.
It's the worst archetype, right? Like you guys all say that, right?
I just kind of jumped up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's.
I don't think it's true. I don't
think it's
know
true.
if I fully.
I don't know if it's
it.
that or green blue, right, Simic?
Yeah, that's next.
Yeah,
is it?
That's next. That's next on my list. But how did my deck win games? You might see I'm a little creature light. I have 6 creatures, right? So poison counters. So like you get the first one on and then you just proliferate or play more cards that just put more poison counters on things. And like eventually you once you get the first poison counter on, then you just basically just have to not die. and then eventually they just die from your cards putting poison counters on them. So that's usually how it went. But my 3 key commons are probably the 3 common spells that put poison counters directly onto a player, which are Prologue to Phyrexia, the 2 mana, 1 and a blue. You draw a card, put a poison counter. The sack one, Vraska's Fall, the 2 and a black. Target opponent sacrifices a creature,
Oh.
and each opponent actually.
Oh.
And then the Infectious Inquiry, the 2 and the black, draw 2, poison someone, you lose 2 life.
Was Vraska's Fall any good, or was it just like kind of a cog in the wheel? It's like a necessary evil.
Like a little bit of both. Like it depends on like specifically which deck you're playing against. Like if your opponents, if you're like, it's not free, right? It's not just free kill target creature, but like there's ways to manipulate the board in a way that makes it better. And that's what I've learned this week playing this deck a lot. Is like you really want to like clean up the board with your Whisper of Drosses. Like you want to like the fact that it's instant speed, I think helps a lot. Like there's ways to like kill Chimney Rabble while the goblins coming in on the stack. There's like lots of weird little tricks. Like you can like I don't know. It's better than it looks.
Okay.
It's still like you're trading a card for one of their cards. It gets a lot worse with like the mites, but
you
usually want to clean them up as much as you can.
Yeah, the deck just folds to like tokens and a bunch of value.
Not always though. Not always. I don't think. But next, and the uncommons are probably the hybrid, the signpost uncommon, the 1 blue, 1 black, and it has toxic and flying.
Ooh.
Toxic 1 and flying, and whenever you proliferate, you bring it back from your graveyard to your hand. So it's pretty good. It's like an infinite chump blocker. I don't think the deck needs it though. I don't think it's a reason to go into this deck. It's very good in the deck, but I don't think like if you don't have any Voidwing hybrids, like I don't think it's the end of the world. And then my last one, uncommon, is Drown and Ichor, which I would have traded my Voidwing hybrid for another one of these, honestly.
Oh, man, yeah.
It's the proliferate, 1 and a black, you target creature gets -4/-4, and then you proliferate, which is like double duty in this deck, right? You're putting the extra poison counters on, and it's sick. And my notable rares are the Kaido, the Planeswalker, and the black blue Planeswalker. It's like pretty mid. It like makes something not attack or block. You can draw a card, or basically the option that you always choose is that you make a 2/2 Death Toucher, and whenever it dies, your opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, which is just like default.
Is that -1 or -2?
That's -2. So then it has 1 loyalty left and dies to everything. But like sometimes you're able to like cheat it with like proliferate stuff, right? They'll just send like 1 at it, and you'll like have the 1 mana proliferate black spell that gives something -1/-1. And then like just cheat him alive sometimes. Like the proliferate stuff was kind of sick with Kaido, but my second rare was the Mercurial Spelldancer, which is funny. It's the 2 mana Legacy All-Star that whenever you whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you put an oil counter on it, and then when it's unblockable, it's a 2/1 for 2. And whenever you deal combat damage, you can remove 2 oil counters from it and copy your next instant or sorcery. So that was mega cute.
I feel like that was super good in this deck, it seems like.
It was cute. I only got to do it once. I only saw it in one of my 6 games I played. But
Were you told me this during, I think it was a little after the draft. Were you really contemplating just passing Kaido?
Yeah. I almost took the 2 mana exile something.
Would
with
your
mana
would your
value
deck?
3 or less.
I guess the real $1,000,000 question is: was the was the removal spell might have been better in your deck, or was Kaido going to be better in your?
Possibly, but like I'm
Oh,
never passing a planeswalker. I'm too greedy.
okay,
Is-
Like if they just let it happen,
okay.
like it can just win a game. Right?
Yeah. Is this the deck that Meldweb Curator actually goes in?
No,
No.
no, it costs too much. It costs too much, and you can't afford to take the turn off to play a blocker because you aren't poisoning, right? Like you'd rather
Yeah.
just poison more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the 4 toughness kind of screws you a little bit. Because like what wrecks you on turn 5 in this deck is if they're able to get like a Furnace Strider or a what is the other one? The atrocity down.
Oh
on you.
yeah.
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 What
So
about
like
the black ETB proliferate, and when it dies proliferate? Is that just too much too? The 4/4?
I've played it right.
Mhm.
It's got the 4 toughness. It's okay. I like it more than I like Meldweb Curator because you get like the double proliferate trigger on it.
Right.
But like one of the biggest problems with this deck is like once you start trying to put creatures in, you're like they're instantaneously dying to everything because like you're only playing 6 creatures, right? So
Mhm.
like you're blanking a ton of your opponent's removal. So like if I were to play like a Meldweb Curator and just rely on that to keep me alive, like most of the time I won't because I'll have that removal spell that they haven't played yet.
Yeah.
Like a
This-
planar incision or whatever. Like usually that's the one that gets you. But I really like the 2/5 guy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of him. Like he proliferates, so like you're adding to the poison. Like I think of the blue black poison deck as like a 10 card combo deck,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
play
So
10
you just
cards
want to
with poison,
live
you
long
win, right?
enough to get your 10 cards
Yeah.
to combo them. And the 2/5 like fades Furnace Strider
Mhm.
like just a vanilla Furnace Strider, no combat tricks.
Yeah.
And it also is like one of your combo pieces too by proliferating.
So, Roby, you're sitting down with your combo deck right now. What don't you want to see across from you?
The 1/1 white guy. The 1/1 white guy that makes a 1/1 mud.
Crawling chorus.
Yeah, that card
Crawling
bodies you.
chorus.
Like you can I've even played this is mega controversial. I've even played minor misstep in this deck. Like I've gotten 6 wins with a minor misstep in my deck. But like yeah, because like that's how bad you don't want to see that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty good. But under the part where it says how did my rares perform, I put cute and stylishly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but my sickest interaction I had was I used the spell dancer to copy Vat Emergence, which is the 5 mana sorcery that brings something back from your opponent's graveyard. It was like the most oppressive play I've ever made in my entire life. And I got
Yeah.
like 2 of their sick poison creatures.
Oh, gosh.
Wouldn't the Vat Emergence just be so sick with the black guy that double proliferates? Like,
Yeah.
it's just so
Yeah.
expensive, though. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you're just fighting for your life.
Yeah. that makes sense.
like this deck goes to like 2. You go to like 2 life. Like you're never like poisoning someone from 20 from like a comfortable lead.
Yeah.
You
Right.
gotta like all in. Cause like a lot of turns you're just like taking 1,000,000 damage because you just have to get that first poison counter on.
Have you tried the 0/3 Scry guy in it?
Yeah, he's been like pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
Really?
I haven't had very good luck with him.
It just seems like no one's
Yeah.
gonna want to waste removal, and you can like literally scry every turn because you're gonna always be proliferating, right? Like,
Mm.
but yeah.
Usually though, I usually want to start with the swamp though, because you want like 1,000,000 Vat Emergences. Like you'd play like 6 Vat Emergences, like the 1 mana black gives something -1/-1.
Oh, Whisper of the
Oh,
Dross.
yeah.
The Whisper of the Dross. It's late, but Yeah. What lesson did I learn from the draft this week?
Yeah.
People take your cards for no reason. Like in pack one, I tabled the 2-mana draw a card, give your opponent a poison counter. So like pack two, or pack three, pick one. I see it in the pack. I'm like, oh, this will just wheel. No, it didn't wheel.
Prologue. Nope.
Nobody
didn't
else should have been playing that card. Well, like sometimes you don't always get what you wanted. You know.
Yep. Every day can't be Christmas, Roby.
Yeah. And my number one lesson I learned from my games was this deck has to mulligan like Andrew. like you gotta have stuff. Because like your cards are so like
They already
situational.
do
Yeah. It's
Yeah. Like, yep.
Duress, another Duress or another Skull Bomb?
Skull Bomb easy. Easy. You play like
Duress,
5 Skull Bombs.
23rd card. Duress worst card in the deck.
Yeah, it's pretty good though. Like, so I'm not actually trying to hit anything. I think you just need it for information.
Have you blanked on it a bunch of times?
I blanked on it one time, but
like I'm saying the whole time you've been playing this.
Yeah, occasionally. You don't want to draw it late, right? But like most of the time you're drawing so many cards that like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, and most of the time, like you're getting a removal spell out of their hand. That's usually not what you want to get though. Like if I like most of the time it's just getting like a barbed batter fist on one, which like is so sick, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been running the one of duress main board, but
are the tapped lands super important? Like the draw that you can sack to draw a card later?
Yeah, I've been wanting to.
Just two.
Like 3 gets to the point where, because like I love to skimp on lands in this deck. Like,
yeah, I see 15 lands
15's like the highest I've ever gone in this
Really?
deck. Well, the first time I ever played it, I had 17 lands, and I immediately cut down to 14. Like, because all you're doing is drawing cards, right? Like and if you're flooding, you're dead. You just die, right? You just need to have interaction constantly. Like, yeah.
Yep. Excited to see the trophy deck when you get it.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yep. So Ryan, tell us about your deck.
I had a Gruul deck. It was just basically Gruul good stuff, splashing blue for Ovika. That's a 6/6 flyer with Ward 3, pay 3 life. Whenever you cast a non-creature, you get X/1/1 goblins. Where X is the mana value, and they gain haste until end of turn. I also, since I was splashing for Ovika, I also splashed for Azuri, Stalker of the Spheres, which is 2 and a green blue for a 3/3. And when it enters the battlefield, you can pay 3. And if you do, proliferate twice. And whenever you proliferate, draw a card. I think my seat was kind of tough. I was kind of flip flopping a lot. I ended up in this deck because I got a bunch of Ruthless Predations pack 1, which is the 1/2 fight spell for 2 mana and green. And so I was like, sure. And then I got, a couple of red cards here and there, mostly just green stuff, right? Like Andrew was taking all the red stuff and he was.
Is Ruthless a liability or is it the good?
Oh, it's both. Like it's both. It's only good, I think, if you can pressure. But if you let your opponents breathe and hold up mana, then it's like way worse, right?
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah, that's one of my lessons I learned. Ruthless Predation is not a sign. But that's what got me into the deck.
I would agree with that for sure.
My deck won games by board presence and solid mid game cards.
Oh, nice.
I'm the biggest Dune Mover stand you'll ever find. I love Dune Mover.
I love them too. I play them in blue black too.
Didn't last week you asked me Dune Mover question mark or no? Or was that
I just learned you could just cut lands. Every Dune Mover is a land you can cut. Like facts, big facts.
That's not facts. That's not science.
It is. You could keep terrible garbage hands with Dune Movers in them. Gosh, like 2 off-color hands and like a 3-color deck. Oh my like, yeah. Oh hell yeah. Everyone is a land to cut. Everyone remember.
I'm not that deep, but I would cut a land for like 2 of them for sure. And then I had an Axiom Engraver, which I'm really high on, but my biggest key common that I kind of built around was Lattice Blade Mantis. That's the 4/3 that comes in the battlefield with like 2 oil counters, and when he swings, you can take one off and make him a 5/4 and untap him. And it's just like in this format, it just seems like cards that swing and block are just super good. Like it's just super important. And that guy was really good for me when I was able to play him. I got land screwed a little bit. Biggest takeaway from the deck was really like I don't think it's always worth it to splash. Like splashing for Ovikin has already made my deck worse for sure.
Mm.
Um
Yeah, you had to play a Dune Mover.
I play Doom Movers without splash.
Yeah, Doom Mover is like one of the better cards in here.
Evolving Adaptive was super sick. Like Evolving Adaptive on
Evolving
one
Adaptive is very good.
is insane. That's the 0/0 that comes into play with the oil counter and it gets +1/+1 for every oil counter. And when you play something with a higher power or toughness than it gets another oil counter.
Oh man.
And that
Evolving
thing was,
Adaptive on 1, Doom Mover on 2.
yep, that was,
Bigger
I
and
did it
Evolving
like 3
Adaptive.
times. Did it 3
Hell
times.
yeah.
I guess Dune Mover is good when you're sacrificing with their shrapnel slingers that are main board.
The shrapnel slingers are fine. Like, what's wrong with the shrapnel slinger?
I mean,
Like they wreck some decks, and then some decks are like a fine 2-drop, like a 2/2 for 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the ceiling's high and the floor is like a 2/2 for 2.
I
which
mean,
is
he's got to
fine.
sack himself, right? Like he's a glorified shatter at that point, right?
Yeah, but like so does Canker Bloom, right?
Oh man, but Kankerbloom's
Kankerbloom's got that extra power though.
He does have the extra power.
He got
does have
that
the
extra power.
it's
And
in there.
Shrapnel Slinger can sack a token, like a 1/1.
But like Kankerbloom gets through 1/3s, right?
Yeah, Canker Bloom's better for sure, but like Andrew was saying he's got to sack himself, and I was just like saying so does Canker Bloom. Like no brainer, Canker Bloom over Shrapnel Slinger.
Kankerbloom's getting there for another like.
I'm kind of off of like playing cards that get blanked by 1/3s. A little bit, just a little bit. Like blanked as like they can't get through or trade.
So you don't want to play any 2-drops, basically, besides 3/1s?
No, I think they just got to do like a little bit more. I guess your argument hangs up like
the ceiling for
like
Shrapnel Slinger is insane, right?
Yeah, like
if
it hits like
in,
a battle chair, right? Like
or like I did tonight, like the red white, the whip, whatever, the double strike thing, or like Eye of Malcator, or there's lots of things that can hit. And then when it doesn't do a lot, like you can sub it in and out, but it's still just like a 2/2 for 2, right? Like I'm blocking more than I'm attacking because I have the 4-drops.
So you're really specking that this is, people are going to be playing like some really heavy artifacts in this. Like that's what you're basically saying, right? It's like
no, I'm not.
No, he's just playing a 2/2 for 2. Really?
Yeah, I'm playing a 2 for 2 with like high upside against like a few decks. You know what I mean? Like,
I see this dude kind of in the sideboards a lot. I sideboard him. He's hanging in my sideboard most of the time, and then I'll bring him in for the special cases when he's hyper good.
Yeah, like he does absolutely nothing against Robi besides being a 2/2 for 2 and maybe killing his skull bomb, but that would be
yeah.
And then like against you, like he kills like your reservoir, your spitter, your 2 skull bombs, which I would be way more likely to kill your barb batter fist. Like he doesn't do nothing. Right, like against you, but against like the white blue decks, like he almost wins you the game. Against the white red decks, he almost wins you the game. Right, yeah. I mean, I'm quick to sideboard him out depending on who I'm playing, but I just like to start with him off in there.
Yeah, I'm looking at your mana base here.
Yep,
it's like the duress of your deck.
Yeah, well, I think the upside's higher than duress, but maybe not. I don't know.
Tomato.
Sure.
This Mirix in your deck here. Is that a
won
mulligan?
Me a game?
Is that a mulligan skill tester?
Bomb heavy format won me a game. Sure. Like it just makes you more likely to keep like bad hands because you can like have the mana once, right? But
yeah,
because like you can only tap it for any color right when it enters the battlefield or the turn it enters.
Like a 3-color deck too, where you're like to be the one like you gotta hold it for the. You gotta hold it.
I mean, I'm never holding it for Ovica, right? Like she costs 7. Like by 7, I'm gonna hit Island or a Dude Mover, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's fine just to make just to have the ability to make a 1/1 might.
Yeah.
And then like the little tap for a turn can really help you out sometimes.
Did it ever screw? Did it ever?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Just wondering.
It was only a 1-turn force. I mean, I end up winning that game though. Yeah, so it was
Oh,
fine.
good. All right. So it worked out.
So is your 2 spheres not the Mirex? Did that seem like it might have been too much? Did it ever screw you by having those in your deck?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I'm
You can
curious.
just almost always play around it. Like it's rare that you can just 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop, spin all your mana all the time. Like
Yeah.
it's almost always better to like be able to blow up a land for a card later. I mean I don't know. I really like those. Like I'd probably play more than 2, honestly, especially not in a 3-color splash deck.
So my next question was viral spawning question mark, but I've actually since revised that to what went wrong in your 3-drop slot, Ryan? Please explain yourself. Like your 3-drop slot is looking mega sus here.
Okay.
Like all
After
of them are bad.
Singer just kind of does like a bunch of different things that like might be somewhat helpful.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
but it's bad. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, Adaptive Force Slinger, you don't really want
You've
to
got
play.
3-drops from like 4 different decks here. Like
Okay, like I think you play viral spawning in every
viral
green
spawning.
deck when it's available.
I don't know.
Like a 3/3 for 3 with Toxic One with the potential, no matter even if it's slim, to flash it back is like sick. Like a 3/3 for 3 is sick in this format.
Yeah.
So I
But
play it.
like
Like I probably picked it too early, sure. But like I play 3/3 for 3 with the potential to
Yeah.
flash it. I had some proliferate. I had like
Okay, these viral spawning is like less egregious than the aspirant.
Rebel Salvo's good. Rebel Salvo's good.
Okay, but that's
Kodotha Cackler is pretty good. 2/3 that swings as a 3/3.
It's a little soft in your deck.
It's a little soft
Just
in your
a
deck.
little soft.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably like a 3/3 or 4/3, right? A lot of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was, but yeah.
Okay, now
that's
the worst one.
You know what's better than 1/3s, Roby?
What?
2/3s.
2/3s? 2/3s for 3? I don't know if that mana is worth the extra.
Maybe. Maybe not. And Silvok Battle Chair for 5? Disgusting.
That's like the worst reason to ever play Bladecraft Aspirant I've ever seen.
I feel like I would
deck, but it's like Menace and it's a 2/3. I don't know. Like it's fine.
I feel like I'd forget that ability and still pay the full price for Silvok Battle Chair. I was like, oh yeah, that had extra text on it. I forgot.
You can equip Silvok Battle Chair to it for 6.
Oh,
yeah, baby.
That's pretty sweet.
A 6/7 Menace dude with trample? Disgusting.
I will say that the scariest thing against the blue black deck is the battle chair.
Yeah.
Once they get it out, it's super easy to blink the 4 Mirrodin token, but then you're always just trying to fade the land.
Yeah.
For them to draw to equip it to their next creature.
Yeah, once it gets to 7, it's really a threat.
Every time I played it, it died instantly before I even ever got a swing with it. Someone killed the battle chair, not even the token.
Oh,
the chair.
Sick.
Just the chair?
The chair, yeah, just the chair.
That's sick.
That's rough.
Molten Rebuke.
That one's mega cute.
The Act of Treason thing that took it and just like sacks it.
Oh hell yeah!
I love it for no reason.
I love that card. Yeah. That's good
I have
stuff.
one equipment in my deck, and it's like probably the best card in my deck. Like honestly,
you're
my battle chair, and then like it just dies instantly when it's build.
Oh man,
that's so funny. Yeah.
Yep, that was the deck. Went 2-1. It was fun.
Yes.
It was just not a cohesive deck. Like it was just a bunch of like red green stuff. Like the 3-drop slot is like a microcosm of the deck, right? Like just a bunch of random stuff thrown together that like are all fine.
A lot of like monocolored gold cards.
Right. There's just a bunch of fine cards that don't really go together, right?
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah. My spot was hard to navigate. I kind of was flip-flopping a lot, and then I just had to make a decision and stick to it. So I had enough playables. Really.
Yeah, there were so many good cards going your way there, where it was like pretty high quality stuff, and I think you kind of got the read on who was like what your person to your was it your right or who was passing to you was kind of in. I think you kind of got the read there, and you're like, ah, shoot. So,
but It was good. Lost to Andrew. He was upstream from me, so he passed me 2 packs. He was in red green. I'm in red green. That's just gonna be a tough matchup. Like
What's next, Ryan?
next up, we have a little data chart I made. Just a nice visual.
I like this one.
It's sorted by games played win rate from
Mhm.
like green to red. So, and all these cards at least have a 53% win rate, which I think is like decent for a common.
Mhm.
And then underneath the games played win rate, there's its ALSA, or its average last seen at. And I think right away you can see some kind of egregious things. Like, for example, Chimney Rabble is the highest win rate, game played win rate common at 58%. But its ALSA is 5.7, which means you're seeing them way later than like
sixth pick.
Blight Belly Rat, which is
No
the
respect, guy.
yeah, yeah. So what are you guys seeing from this chart?
All the cards that I like are bad.
Like none of the cards on this are bad. Like 53%.
Yeah, they
win
are
rate.
bad, right? Like they're just like way lower win rate.
Man,
And
just
this
not
is
a
in
lot
all
of
decks, right? Too, just to clarify.
Yeah, yeah. This is
Yeah.
all decks.
So like sometimes like some of these cards are skewed just by like being misplayed, right?
Or just being underplayed and only like really
Yeah.
being in shining decks, right? So like
Yeah.
all this
Chimney
data is a
Rabble.
little bit grain of salty, right?
Like
Yeah.
if everyone played Chimney Rabble in like their red blue decks, its win rate might be lower because red blue is just less good than red green, right?
Sure, I think it'd be fine in red blue decks. I think
Yeah, I think
Chimney
it's
Rabble's like a
okay.
weird one, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, like Crawling Chorus, right? Like if you played it in your white blue deck, like you would lower its win rate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man,
Because like
people are
you
really
don't really
taking
care
the
about
crawling
poison.
chorus a lot higher too. Look at that. Last average seen a 4. Wow.
Not as high as Black Belly Rat.
That's crazy.
White Belly Rat, Basilica Shepherd,
Overdrafted.
Flash are way overdrafted. Contagious Vorak is like kind of where I think it should be, 3.2, with a
Yeah.
57% win rate. Contagious Vorak is probably one of the best, if not the best, commons in the format, right?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I agree. I love
I
that
agree.
card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
A couple other things that stand out to me because I just played is Ruthless Predation has a 55.8 win rate and is last seen at 3.9, and I seen it later, so that's why I moved in.
Yeah, you
But
took it. I passed a couple of those too.
A really interesting one to me is the Barb Butterfist. Like I'm surprised that like people haven't caught on to that. That goes in every red deck, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just super.
Yeah, it's just strong.
What about the Incisor Glider being at 55.9% win rate and ALSA is 4.6? Isn't that kind of
I've
shocking?
been on it. I've been on it. I think that every white deck actually wants it.
Yeah. It's
Really?
just,
Even if you don't care about toxic, the fact that it's also like a artifact too, that means that blue eye wants it because it turns on the eyes.
mhm.
Yeah, I kind of don't take it in my blue white decks really
Really?
because
Oh,
there's just a ton of 2-drop artifacts that you'd rather have. Like you'd rather
like
have
Mandible Justicar.
Yep, just this yar. And then even the 2-1 that like lowers something's power when you attack is like actually low key kind of good in that deck.
Huh.
Mm.
I've liked it in the equipment decks too, like red white,
Yeah,
because it's just a
Yeah.
flyer, so it's good to like suit up with equipment.
right. And it's a 1/3, which we've been
Yeah,
preaching.
which is just really cute, right? Seems
I mean,
kind of egregious that it's a 1/3.
yeah,
Like
it's
that's just too much for
it's like a 1/3. It's an
cost.
artifact. Like it cares about corrupted. It goes in like basically every white deck just because of its versatility.
Yeah,
Right.
yep. I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah. Charge of the Mites is up here, which is kind of surprising to me. 55% win rate.
I feel like that one's mainly a skill tester, though. It's just so hard to keep the balance where you want it to be the removal spell all the time, or when you need to switch gears and really go for the beatdown
Yeah.
with
I don't
it.
know, dude. Have you ever like been on the play and you play a 2-drop and then your opponent puts down 2 mana and passes and you flash in
Mm.
2 1/1 toxics and you're just like, I have such a huge board right now. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
body's demanding.
Man, I can't believe
Charge of my
Titanic gross up here. What is that? I'm just.
Yeah, need to
Titanic?
play
I
it
don't think
more.
I guess I need to play it more, right? Yeah.
House is
Mm.
7. I mean, yeah, I don't see why not. Like this
Man.
format, like I don't know if you guys feel this way, but in this format, I feel like games are like pretty close. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
win or lose with
Oh.
by like 3, 4, 5 life, or you only need 1 or 2 more poison
Sometimes.
counters or
Wow.
whatever. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah.
I was
Like,
yeah, definitely
I
1, 2,
don't
3.
actually agree with that
Just
literally at all, except in Demir.
Like I think a
Every
lot of
game is.
times both people think they're the beatdown, right?
yeah, I think we saw that. I think we heard a lot of that, or heard a lot of chatter talk about that on the table. Was like just who's the beatdown and just knowing when to knowing to roll.
I know who was never the beatdown. This
I knew who
guy.
was the beatdown every time, man. I was beaten down. I was just trying to get every bit of damage in there, just knowing I was going to chip shot with those shrapnel slingers or with even a volt charge to the face.
Yeah.
It was coming down to very small points and edges like that.
But look at all my white blue cards still going 7, 6.4.
It's underdrafted. It's
And then
underdrafted.
Dune Mover 4.6.
I
As it
don't want to
should
look at
be.
this. This seems
As it should be with the
fake. This seems
53.6%
like
win
fake.
rate.
Fake news. Fake
Win
news.
rate as high as Blight Belly Rat.
I can't believe
Goes
that.
in
That
literally
is
every deck.
crazy.
Dune
Oh,
Mover.
People are
like
just playing it wrong.
yeah, I'm gonna play it. I give it a lot of crap, just mainly for fun.
I'm way up on it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Cut
super
your
high on it,
lance.
but I'm definitely not gonna do that. I like Stinging Hive Master. I'm glad to see he's getting.
How do
some
you guys feel about going 15 lands in this format? Do you think
like
you
it.
want to be doing that a lot? Or no?
I'd rather just play the tap lands and run like 16.
Yeah, I think I'd
Yeah.
go 16. I'm not
Do
really
you,
comfortable going 15 in this format. I feel
do you
like some
think it's like weirdly wrong to go 17 lands in this format?
It felt
It
bad.
feels like it. It feels like really bad.
Felt bad to have a 7 drop and run 17 lands today. It did feel
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
Would you rather just run 16 lands with a 7 drop, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't,
Like I would have
don't?
rather just not ran the 7 drop, not splash, and ran 16 lands, maybe even less with a couple more Axiom Engravers and Dude Move.
Oh, yeah.
I've been finding it real hard in this format to splash. Like not to actually do it, just to justify it.
I
taking the
actually
hit in
was
my
going to pull up a
decks.
stat about that too. Like the average win rate for splashing, like 2 colors in a splash, is lower than any just 2 color deck. Like even the worst 2 color deck is
Even
higher than the
Demir.
average. Like the highest 2 color in a splash deck is like almost as low as like Demir.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I kind
so
of knew it wasn't very good this format because Robi is not doing it. Like
Yeah.
Robi's like totally about splashing 5 color craziness. And it's crazy to think too because what's the artifact, the one that Prothetic Prism is in this?
yeah,
And it's like that's so good for splashing, but it's so tough.
too slow.
Too slow.
You know what I love almost as much as just playing it every random rare I get is synergy that's kind of bad. Like, proliferating poison counters and just depressing people with them is like just as good to me.
You're just chasing the dragon with that deck, I think. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's like actually correct in some places to actually go into.
oh, for sure. Like,
But like I think like it's by far the most hard, like the hardest deck to pilot too.
Can't wait
Just
till Robi
knowing
has like the
the
final
most
form of
decision
that deck.
points that
Yeah.
like one wrong decision and like that's the game for you.
yeah,
Right.
maybe. I haven't tried it yet, so.
Yeah. His final form
You
of that deck just no
if you
creep.
want to do it, full send. Like don't hold
Right.
back. You need to like fully get into it.
Do I want to race you to a trophy deck this week? That'd be fun.
No. No.
No.
It won't even count in my brain.
Wow.
I got you there. I laid the groundwork.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, Andrew. Tell us about this. Let us enter your brain.
Yeah, the mind of an alpha, because I was 3-0 this week.
You're the best archetype.
We're the best archetype. Probably one of the coolest aggro decks I've played this format too. It's just actual 1-drops. I complained about that last week, not having 1-drops. And so I said I gotta go full send 1-drops this week. Anyways, so here's a pack here. We've got the Incisor Glider. So that's the 1-2 or the 1-3. We've got Volshock Splitter, Experimental Augury, Gataxian Arcanist, Planar Disruption, Perdition Steward, Mindwhelb Strider, Gelping Scrap. Oh gosh, I don't even know. I never play this guy, so I've just never read him. Chimney
I played
Rattler,
him,
All
he's good.
Star this week.
He's
Hazardous
okay.
Blast, Infectious Bite, Armored Scrap Gorger, Magnetic Splitter, and a Red Sun's Twilight. So already off the bat, Red Sun's Twilight's out of here. Yeah, it's really more just regulated the sideboard card. So the big standouts to me are the Armored Scrap Gorger and the Infectious Bite. Chimney Rattler now. That's people kind of cats out of the bag on that one. It's pretty good. And then Planar Disruption is quite strong here. If this is a first pick kind of thing, I think I'm going to go with the Scrap Gorger. It just leaves me open to a couple other decks. You get the oil counters, which is really nice, but also you can just ramp into some other things that you're kind of looking for in your decks. And then it's kind of cool to have just a random exile a card from somebody's graveyard. Like that can randomly just be big. There's not like any flashback except for the one card that makes the 3/3s, but it's kind of nice to just kind of have that little bit
It's good
there.
against the Void Wing.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so then it becomes a 3/3 after you're done ramping, which is kind of cool. So you hardly get to see those guys just transform into actual beaters.
Scrap Gorgers?
Yeah.
I feel like I see it all the time because, like, so
Oh,
someone's Siska.
I mean, like your Atlanta War Elves or your O2 Walls.
Oh,
or
yeah. Okay. I thought you were talking about the.
Yeah.
No. It's kind of cool that he transforms and just like starts on the beat down. Or you
Secret
could just
tech here, you get 2 oil counters
Swing
on
in
him,
with that
and then
second oil counter on
yeah,
it.
and then you swing in at 3, and he's a 3/3.
Turns into the 3/3.
Oh, that's
This is
sick.
on tap.
You haven't done that, Andrew?
No, I just
Yeah, you swing with the second oil counter on it, and then
oh my gosh, that's a pretty good
turns
idea.
into a 3/3 once it gets the third one.
Oh,
Because it's
man.
like anytime it becomes tapped, right?
That's such a sick trick. Actually, okay, so I don't think I've
So
read.
Andrew plays it without doing that.
Yeah, it's so good. I thought it was actually when you tap it, you add the oil counter on it, or tap it like for the mana, you add the oil counter. I thought it was part of that cost. I didn't even realize it was just tapped in general. Oh man, that guy's even better than I thought.
So you have to exile a card to get the oil counter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still have to exile a card. So if there's 0 cards in graveyard,
Still
it
good.
doesn't actually get the oil counter.
Still good.
Yeah, it's still really good. Yeah.
Man.
Okay, so
Yeah.
tell us your whole process on this pack. What are you taking? What's the next person taking?
All
What's
right,
the
cool.
general vibes?
Yeah. All right. So right off the bat, you realize that green's pretty strong in here, right? You got 2 really strong green cards. So the unfortunate part about taking that Scrap Gorger is that someone's probably going to take that Infectious Bite pretty early down the stream. So on pack 2 when they're passing to you, your green's going to be a little affected by that. There's kind of a cool case here to take the Planar Disruption. That was actually my second pick would probably be the Planar Disruption. Removal's good. This one's pretty decent too. Shutting off the activated abilities are really strong. And the Incisor Glider, I don't think it gets a lot of respect put on it sometimes. And so sometimes you could just kind of wheel that, or you just push it far down the road. So no one's really kind of getting into white there. The red's pretty deep with not like super, super deep, but with the Chimney Rattler and the Volshock Splitter, people are going to like kind of look at that again. Magnetic Splitter's all right too. The black.
People like that card, the Sprinter.
Yeah. I think people just, man, it's good. It's all right. Kind of gets in there. The blue's not the strongest, so you probably don't want to pick anything in there. There's one black card here, and it's already pretty weak, so you might as well just pass it along. But really, it comes down to that either you're red or green. The green, you just got to know that you're probably not going to get green in the second pack because that Infectious Bite is pretty strong, and people take it as a pretty big signal that it's
I
open.
think you're losing. I don't think you're gonna wheel any red or green cards from this.
Yeah,
pack.
I think 4 out of the first 5 cards taken out of this pack are red and green.
Yeah,
I think they're red and green cards. I think you'll have maybe a chance to get the Predation Steward, but people are really strong on that guy right now, just as a 2/2. But I think that you may wheel that. Of the red cards, you're probably gonna wheel like one of those, right? Like not everybody's gonna take like
I mean, the
Hazardous Blast.
Splitter is the only thing that would wheel.
Yeah, the
Or
Splitter.
blast, yeah.
Red
this
Sun's
is a
Twilight
really
wheel.
weird observation,
Uh-huh.
but I think there's a path, and I know that this is not like a archetype that people actually want to play.
Mhm.
There's a path into green blue here in this pack. Because you're gonna wheel either the anatomist or the experimental augury.
With the
And you
strider,
know
but the
what's like
strider's hard.
way worse than ramping into a chimney rabble?
And yeah.
Ramping into a anatomist.
I kind of
Or
like the disruption pick. You
the
said,
planar disruption. That's good too, just because like you might be able to wheel that glider.
well, I
That's
think you just
good.
set yourself up so well for pack 2 because you put the person to your left in red or green, you put the next person in red or green, and you put the next person in probably red or green. Like,
This is
honestly.
like a red green pack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty high
There's
on
no
that.
demure cards.
And there's nothing like so crazy over the top where like my planar disruption can't beat what they're playing.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty nice. Maybe the
There
infection.
isn't the 4-mana white card that bounces
Oh,
something, right?
oh goodness, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that would probably be I think maybe the disruption the truth be told, like when it first came out, I looked at disruption right away and then I just kept looking at that scrap gorger. Maybe it's just because it's green that you're just like green's pretty decent, but that disruption and more we're talking about it too. I think that's it.
Yeah. I'm between infectious bite and disruption.
Mhm.
Because infectious bite doesn't go with any of the green or red cards. It gives them a poison counter, right?
So I think you just haven't learned your lesson yet that you already learned tonight.
Well, this is instant, and it gives them a poison counter. So
The biggest lesson that you learned was the fight spells aren't a reason to go into the deck.
this is a bite spell, and it goes in the poison deck.
Okay. All right, Ryan.
And it's an instant, Roby.
Okay.
Like it just doesn't go with
Maybe
any of
you'll
the
learn that
other red or
lesson
green
next time.
cards. Okay.
I don't know. Infectious bite is an egregious pick, I think.
There's no toxic cards in this deck, in this pack. Like you still set everyone to your left in red green.
And then
Maybe
you take
one person
a
gets white.
very good red green card.
No, that's a green white card or a green black card. Infectious bite is because it gives them a poison counter.
Yeah, I never ever read that text. Yeah,
it's so good. It's just a punch spell too. It's just like you don't even have to bother tangling with the guy.
And
Just,
people like Andrew just love playing stupid ass buffs, and then you just bite their dude, right?
I do love it.
Do you think there's a green blue poison deck? Probably not.
Thrumming birds, and if you get a couple of the signposts, maybe.
I think you would need the like go get a land or proliferate card. Like, cause green does have like that 1-mana proliferate common, right?
Yeah.
What's their 1/1?
It's not a 1/1. It's
a 1-mana green card that either goes and gets a basic or
Oh, do they have a 1/1 toxic that's just is there any 1-drop toxic that's green?
creatures? No.
Ugh, man, that's so tough then.
There's the 2-drop though.
Yeah, but like thrumming birds go late. Theoretically, the green blue signpost should be going late. Like I don't know who's taking them all the time, but someone is.
There always seems to be someone.
I know.
I think green blue is actually oil counters though.
What about that green card that like you can put 2 lands, you can double proliferate?
That card is terrible.
I know, but like poison.
like in that deck, but maybe.
I've definitely played it to do the double poison in my was it the black green decks? I was like, nope, not searching for a land, just double poison. This is like a shock. It's like
There's like
a double shock.
Yeah, it's
there's
double
no
shock.
blue poison cards either. Like you just have to play like auguries.
You play there's the blue 2-drop.
2 mana, yeah.
Yeah, you need a ton of them, like 6 of them.
The guy who
I think that would be cute, like the 0 creatures blue green deck.
Maybe that's a tech for you to me. Splash green for the double proliferate. 6
That would
drop.
be hilarious. It's like a gulping scab trap, but it's not a 4/4.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
but it happens instantly, right? Like you don't have to wait
1
for
mana less, but you don't get the 4/4. Slight discount. What do you guys think about Meldweb Shredder?
I always flirt with putting it in my white blue decks, and I just never do.
Yeah,
I lost to it today. It broke my heart. And my opponent was at 9 poison.
Oh, yeah.
And they played a Meldweb Shredder.
That's the green blue payoff right there.
Yeah, probably
Meld
actually. Yeah.
Probably so, yeah.
Like, because if you're able to proliferate pretty reliably, like.
Right.
Yeah, 5/5 for 5 with vigilance. Not bad.
Yep.
It's not bad if you can get that first proliferate on it. Like, you're pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's cute. It is cute.
Yeah,
so funny.
because they're free, right? Like they go like last pick.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Right.
I think green blue is oil counters, and you just need Icar synthesizers or win con.
Probably.
Yeah, and you just play like the 1 mana proliferates that also like double triggers your Icar synthesizers, so you just need like 2 of them, right?
Oh,
And you
yeah.
play like a
Yeah,
bunch
that's
of
pretty nice.
unblockable.
Or
Yeah.
experimental auguries or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
with just literally any proliferate blue card.
I
Yeah.
always like those
Extra
with the
spy would be good. Too.
I think the incubation sack with that deck is gonna be pretty sick. Where you're just like,
Yeah,
okay,
for
nothing
sure.
but 4/4s every turn, but then you get
Yeah.
the guys that you're talking about, the unblockable guys when they get the 4 counters on them, and just
Yeah.
be doing that and just flooding the board with 4/4 or with 3/3s.
I've yet to have a good green blue deck, mostly because I've been hard forcing Demir, but that's next on my agenda. Is the next
I always
next
think
worst
about it.
archetype.
I always think about it, man. I
I
always
think
think
I think it's a thing. I think it's a thing. I think
I
it's
wanna play
stronger
it.
inherently than Demir, just straight out the bat, because
I
it's
think it
less
might
hard to
be.
play.
I think it actually is, like, slightly above Demure.
Yeah, I think it's 17 lands. Yeah, but
Because it
Right,
has
maybe.
green and then green's good, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
like you can just play good green cards, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, like there's no good like black blue rare getting you into black
Kaido.
blue, right? Kaido
Kaido.
isn't even good
Kaido.
enough. He's not even good enough. He loses to planar disruption, right? He gets planar disrupted. That was my problem. Big problem with that.
Oh, shoot, it hits a planeswalker. Man, that card's
Yeah.
wait. Forgot about that. Nice.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah.
catch y'all boys on the flippity flop.
See
All
ya.
right. Bye.